Sezno. I am going to ramble about Weezer in this video. Shout out to anybody who requested a video about Weezer. People have been asking me since the Nirvana video, so this is for you. I am going to talk in kind of a long-winded way. That's sort of how my notes ended up when I was writing this video. So if you just want to hear my cut and dry basic thoughts on the band, please skip ahead to here in the video. I'll put a timestamp. Here is my broad explanation of how I situate Weezer within the history of rock music. In the history of music, importance is defined and historically bestowed in a number of different contradictory ways. One of the ways in which this happens is by how innovative a given artist is, or a given body of work is. So-and-so changed the way that we think about X, this other artist changed the way we think about Y, and music wouldn't be the same without them. If we're talking rock and roll, there are numerous examples of this. Jimi Hendrix, the Velvet Underground, the Ramones, Joy Division. We think of what they did now as being currently essential building blocks of the genre. And ultimately, their legacy and why we remember them, why they kind of seem untouchable in the context of rock history, is because of how innovative they were and how influential those innovations proved to be in the long run. This makes them worthy of study and appreciation over multiple generations. Like the culture of rock will never be done with Jimi Hendrix. It'll never be done with Black Sabbath. So yes, obviously innovation is an important factor, but limiting yourself to just talking about the innovators doesn't tell the whole story, especially if you are a student or a practitioner of a given artistic discipline. If you're trying to have a complete understanding of that, you can't just limit yourself to the innovators. There's a quote from a book that I have to go get right now because I don't have it with me. Okay, I have it now. Charles Rosen talks about this in The Classical Style, which is a book about classical music. He says, "What makes the history of music particularly troublesome is that what is most exceptional, not what is most usual, has often the greatest claim on our interest." So the interesting thing that gets brought up here is the distinction between two categories, the exceptional and the usual. When we think about innovators, we think of what they do as being exceptional. We think of them as being beyond, above, unlike the normal, traditional way of doing things. Culturally today, we place the most emphasis on exceptional works of art, and we tend to place less value on things that we think are derivative. We more highly value the exceptional and the unique because I guess we associate it more with truly inspired, like new, raw creation. And derivative things, the usual, on the other hand, we think of those as being more frivolous because we associate the ideas that they communicate as coming from somewhere else, something that already exists and maybe has realized that idea in a better, more compelling, concise way. But, and history plays this out over and over, you don't have to be innovative to be important. And you don't have to be innovative to be excellent and do excellent work. This brings me to another Rosen quote. "It is a contradiction essential to a work of art that it resists paraphrase and translation, and yet that it can only exist within a language which implies the possibility of paraphrase and translation as a necessary condition." This is why you can't tell the history of music, you can't tell that story just limiting yourself to the innovators, because the innovators require a standard of normal procedure to compare their innovations to. We don't sufficiently appreciate the necessity of what is usual. What is exceptional derives its standard from what is usual. And historical importance is not a rule-breaking contest, and exceptional work doesn't create that standard by itself. Perhaps you can tell by this point where I'm going with this in a video about Weezer. great work that history ultimately remembers, great work that distills kind of the best of a certain time period, a certain style, great work that warrants study and appreciation. Except the mode that the work generally exists in leans closer to the usual than the exceptional. It doesn't really invent or discover new modes of expression, but it demonstrates very good command of an existing one. That is how I would describe Weezer. And this is why I'm calling this video Weezer Ought to Be Studied. Weezer are excellent, like world-class practitioners of a particular style that nobody would say that they invented, but they're still excellent. Most of their catalog doesn't necessarily stand out as some of the most compelling rock of whatever decade. There are those who may disagree with me there, but they present that basic style so concisely and convincingly in song after song after song after song over what is now a huge catalog that I would go so far as to say that if you are a rock songwriter, a guitar songwriter at a certain point in your journey, there may be more value in studying Weezer than in studying somebody like, say, Radiohead. If you want to learn about melody, if you want to learn about chords, if you want to learn about how to put a pop song together, there's like more of the more broadly useful building blocks of songwriting technique. Any Weezer song is like a great case study in terms of like how to write a bridge, how to write in a major key, how to structure a melody over a few chords, how to write a tune. Like, frankly, any Weezer song could teach you how to write a tune. Even though I personally regard Radiohead's music much more highly, there is still an excellence in rudiments in Weezer's music that I think will stand the test of time. You know how when a sports team keeps messing up easy plays and the fan base and the media are like, this team has a lack of fundamentals? Weezer is a fundamentally sound rock band. Like, if I need a tune right now, off the bench, Rivers Cuomo is going into this game. You know what I mean? I hope what I mean is like coming through here. Weezer doesn't write the most unique songs, the most quirky songs. Like, they're never gonna write Marquee Moon, but they've been able to write a great pop tune for like 30 plus years, I guess. You can dislike Weezer all you want, but you can't deny that Rivers Cuomo is a machine. He's a machine of a songwriter. He has never stopped writing tunes, and his catalog is like impossibly deep with the amount of earworms that there are. Like, Green Album is kind of boring, but like, honestly, it's kind of 10 for 10 in terms of hits. Like, yeah, these are all fucking great songs. It's not the most interesting production job. It's not the most interesting package and like mode of presentation, but there's no misses on that album in terms of like, here's the songs that I've got. You could listen to that album or even say Make Believe, and you'll have multiple songs on the track list that like would be another band's greatest hit. We wouldn't hate Beverly Hills so much if the band that made Stacy's Mom had written that. You know what I mean? If you're a songwriter, don't act like you wouldn't be pleased with yourself if you wrote My Name is Jonas or Burnt Jam or something. I guess it's possible to have so many hits that you're underrated. I think Guided by Voices is the other band that I would think of with this like formula. I'm not here to criticize Weezer. Like, I don't think it would be as fun. I feel like most of the shit that I would come up with is like pretty low-hanging fruit. It's easy to criticize Weezer if you want. You get a lot more out of Weezer when you accept your own personal qualms with them and just appreciate how good they are at what they do. And as I was writing this, I kind of noticed that anything that you could criticize about Weezer, you could actually flip it on its head to become like a positive point and kind of motivational for other artists. As some examples, the hook is king. In the long term, maybe it is quantity over quality. There's a video to be made about that, I think. A simple drum beat is a winner. High gain electric guitar works every time. Verse, chorus, verse. Keep it concise. You might not even need a bridge. Why try to make Kid A when you've got tunes? Talk about the two routes you could take as a rock band circa 2000. You could go Kid A, or you could go Green Album. You can play a solo that's just the verse melody. I might criticize the Green Album about that, but as a stylistic choice, I can't really knock it if Kurt did that on half the songs on Nevermind. A bridge can be 2 or 3 chords, like you could write that shit in 30 seconds. Write honest lyrics because people want to hear you. Realistically, you don't make music for the people who don't vibe with you. I've said this in other videos, but you know, maybe you can't criticize something for being the way that it is. So be cringe. Like, that's a very positive thing you could get out of Weezer. Like, yeah, some of those songs are cringy, but like, be cringe. Who cares? People love Weezer. People love Rivers. You know what I mean? Like, it's fine. You can always pivot to pop music if you want to. Get Lil Wayne on a song. Who cares? Can't Stop Partying is not a song that's hated if it was made by 303. Of course, it's kind of good. It just happens to be Rivers Cuomo singing it. I'm going to make more videos about Weezer, but all that to say, like, Weezer ought to be studied because they do a lot of things right. And like, if you want to talk about like long, deep catalogs that are worth exploring, Weezer isn't like the first one that I would mention for somebody who wants to get into rock music, but it is fascinating. I did want to come on here and just say, like, honestly, I view Rivers Cuomo as an A-tier rock songwriter, at least. You know what I mean? In terms of just the clear musical skill and command that he has, and he demonstrates it on every album. I'll talk about this in another video that I'm working on, but I personally think that none of the 2000s records up to like the Red Album, I don't think any of those records are bad. I think they are all quite good. You need bands like Weezer. And you can't measure every band according to the same standard. Weezer write a lot of stupid songs, but there are plenty of other bands that write stupid songs that don't get hated on the way Weezer does. Anyway, yeah. Dude, sorry I've been slow on videos and shit, bro. Like, a lot of shit's been going on in my life. A lot of working and stuff like that. If you like what I do, subscribe, like, comment, let me know what you think. Give me a follow on Instagram as well. Also, Sezno merch, check out my store. There's a number of different cool shirts there. And check out my EP as well. People have been very kind about the reaction to that, so I appreciate you. It's getting warmer here. Enjoy your spring, bro. Get in the sun. You know, Weezer's pretty like sunshine kind of music, I think. So lock in. Peace be with you, my friends.